Let's talk for a moment about the vice president because he's about to take on quite a task. He is headed to Islamabad to negotiate with the Iranians. The New York Times report about President Trump's decision-making in the process to wage war noted concerns from the vice president. This piece says Mr. Vance warned Mr. Trump that a war against Iran could cause regional chaos and untold numbers of casualties. It could also break apart Mr. Trump's political coalition and could be seen as a betrayal by many voters who had bought into the promise of no new wars. Mr. Vance, whose disagreement with the whole premise was well established, addressed the president. "You know, I think this is a bad idea, but if you want to do it, I'll support you." Mark, do these reported comments help or hurt the vice president in his political future?
Well, as you know, I worked for the previous vice president under Donald Trump, and the one thing you never heard was a vice president coming out publicly with their disagreement with the president. So I think that is a fundamental mistake if that reporting is true. So this is an opportunity for the current vice president to literally show that he can help deliver the peace that the president has promised. I think it's very important for him to do that, and I would caution them and their team to not have these kinds of stories crop up, because in all the years that I worked and worked closely with the first administration and Vice President Mike Pence, you never had a story about where he disagreed with Donald Trump, even if he might have privately. You never heard it publicly.
Until it was too late.
Go ahead.
No. So my only point is: is it a mistake or is it strategy or is it hedging? I think we don't give Vance enough credit. When we talk about his strategic sort of acumen. So I think it is less a mistake, and I think it's more hedging, and he's forward looking. I think he thinks that this is to some degree a mistake. Again, we're going at this alone. Never at a time in American history have we had such distrust of the American government from not just our allies, but from our foes. Again, we're potentially going to commit billions of dollars to a war where we don't have any exit strategy. So I think the vice president's hedging his bets.
Do you think that this conflict hurts the vice president's chances in 2028?
Well, I think he'll be able to point to statements like this to say, well, I never fully believed in it, but I was doing my job. I mean, very much like what you heard Pence say, when he left the White House. It was like, I didn't believe in everything, but I had a duty to do my job and a duty to the nation. So I think that's probably going to be his line.
Mark, the leading of negotiations, what Vance is about to take on here, is this an opportunity or is it a big risk for him?
I think it's both. I think it's an opportunity if he can pull this off along with President Trump, because it doesn't matter who the president sends in there. The president is ultimately going to be making the final decision. Someone's picking up the phone, calling the president and says, this is what their plan is, this is what I countered with, and he will be the one to say yes or no. So it will be President Trump's deal, but you want to be seen as being a key player in negotiating that peace. If it falls apart, then you're going to be out there championing our troops and our American initiative as we continue to press the war until it comes to an end.